Wooden decking will rot if you don't keep up with regular treatment. It will get slippy from green algae and will start to look aged in just a few months. Recycled plastic decking never rots, never needs any treatments, doesn't warp, crack or splinter. It's resistant to green algae as it cannot bed in and is easily removed with a stiff brush or a pressure washer. And recycled plastic decking has better slip resistance than wood, even when wet. And today we're going to show you how we built this beautiful recycled plastic deck that's completely maintenance free. You'll never have to do anything with it again for the rest of your life. And it's very simple. All you have to do is get somebody who can do all the digging for you. In this case, we've got everything on a slope. The backyard is on a slope, and we need to level up so that we can have people walk out of the back door straight onto the deck with no step. So this does require a little bit of hard labour. So we've got one of our nephews here doing all the hard labour, and we don't pay him, we just give him a cup of tea every now and then. So now that we've finished levelling the ground, we're going to build the first frame of the decking base. This recycled plastic is almost twice the weight of wood, so we're using two main base frames for this deck, as one large frame would have been much too heavy to lift and manoeuvre into position. Keydel recycled plastic decking comes in various sizes and thicknesses, each with different support requirements. For the 150 by 27 marine decking that we're using today, we recommend support should be no more than 500mm apart. The maximum allowable spans we recommend for all our recycled plastic decking can be found on the last page of our decking install guide that you can download from our website. We laid a permeable membrane underneath the deck to prevent weeds growing, but still allowing water to drain through. You can get this from most builders merchants and garden centres. We've positioned these frames 300mm from the fencing on each side of the decking. The gap will be covered with granite chippings that allows adequate drainage even in heavy rain. We're just checking here that the frame is square. It should be the same distance from corner to corner both ways. We want the frame to stay square while we're working on it, so we're going to temporarily brace the corners. We'll remove these pieces before we lay the decking boards. We're going to put some packing under the frame now to level it up and ensure the decking comes level with the step from the back door. We're using this offcut to make sure we get it right. Now we have the frame level, we're going to attach it to some posts set in concrete. You can easily cut a flap through the permeable membrane with a Stanley knife. We dug the holes for our posts with an auger or post drill that you can get from any builder's merchant or agricultural merchant. Some of our posts were situated close to the building foundation, so we had to use a steel wrecking bar to shift some of the builder's rubble that was near the surface. We drilled down through the soft surface layer till we reached something solid, which in our case was some hard clay, and that provided a solid foundation for our posts. As you can see, working with recycled plastic is just as easy as working with wood. You'll find some advice on working with recycled plastic at the end of this video. To fix our posts in position, we used a quick setting concrete called Postcrete that sets in 10 or 15 minutes. You just fill up the hole, add water and tamp it down. You noticed here there's not much movement. You get to somewhere here, lots of movement. We added noggins between the joists to provide extra stability and prevent the frame from twisting. To make sure your screws go in easily, we recommend pre-drilling the holes to prevent mushrooming of the chaff and melt back. We used 70mm countersunk anodized steel screws to ensure a good compression joint. You could also use stainless steel screws, and though these are slightly more expensive, they are never going to rust. So that's the first frame finished. The second frame is a bit smaller and lighter, so in this case we could put the noggins in before placing it in position. So here's the final base finished and all screwed together. You might have been wondering why we put this extra plank in, this extra beam in here, and that joist is because you want to maintain your 500 centres all the way along, so there'll be no flexing of the decking board once it's attached. So we're now at the stage where we're going to level up this second frame to complete the deck. If you want your screws to go in more easily, you can always use a bit of washing up liquid on the threads. For the final piece of the jigsaw, we made 2 more small frames to fit around the drain pipes. We've now got all the decking frames down and we're ready to put decking down. And before we start that, we're just making a little fascia board at each end, so we've got something to butt up the decking boards to. We have to make sure that the first decking plank that we put on is going to be absolutely square, so that when we get to the other side it's still square and we don't have a strange need to cut things in strange angles. So what we've done is we're going to need to have the space of 2 decking planks here for the distance we've got, and we're using little spacers here which are little bits of plastic that are 5 millimeters thick. And we're going to use that all the way along so that we have a uniform gap of 5 millimeters between each decking plank from beginning to end. We put this decking plank in here now. We put 1 screw in it, fixed it at one end, and we've run a string along to the other end. Now that we've run this string along, we can line this plank up and make sure it's absolutely square and in line with the string. And this will mean that all the way along now our decking planks will be absolutely square till we get to the other side. When you pre-drill the decking boards, it's best to make the hole about 0.5 millimeter larger than the screw. This allows the board's room to expand and contract with temperature changes. Just make sure you only drill the bigger hole into the decking board and not into the joist underneath it, otherwise you won't be able to tighten up the screw. When decking planks butt up to each other, we recommend a 5 millimeter gap. But because it's been a hot day today and the planks will have expanded, we're only allowing 2 millimeters here. So as you can see here, before cutting the decking boards to length, we're just measuring up to the spacer. Treated timber decking is guaranteed to rot and will lose its appearance in as little as 12 months. And after that, you start to incur the cost of labour and materials for maintenance and replacement. Recycled plastic decking will keep its good looks for decades, so you'll only pay for the initial installation. As you can see, this deck needed a small step up to the garden. Once you've got the idea of how the deck is constructed, it's easy to tailor it to suit your own requirements. So there you have it, a beautiful recycled plastic deck that you're never ever going to have to do any maintenance on for the rest of your life. And you can see how easy it is to do with recycled plastic, just as easy as if you were working with wood. If you've got any questions, give us a call on 01282 861 325 or email sales@keydel.co.uk.